asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her.
Hey, welcome to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show. I'm Steve Ray, your barbecue correspondent, coming to you live from Ottawa. Man, I tell you what, folks, it is bad, here in the Tennessee Valley, tri-state area. Tornadoes creamed us. I mean, just creamed us. Sunday night, late into Monday morning, and we have been putting the pieces back together again. Luckily, our family and business didn't suffer any damage, but boy, I tell you what, I've got close friends that are homeless, and I've got good customers that are without power still, homeless, and just a plethora of things going on here over and above the coronavirus. So let's power through it. We're brought to you by Michelin Tires, and boy, we've sold a lot of tires. People running over nails and all kinds of stuff in the road this weekend. Michelin has a tire for your car, and I've got them at my place too, at the Midnight Oil in Ottawa. Truck or SUV, it just doesn't matter. Your family needs a good ride, and you need to ride on Michelin tires. The Owl's Nest Barbecue Show is also brought to you by Butcher Barbecue Products, available nationwide, online, and at a retailer near you. Butcher Barbecue Products will put you in the winner's circle at your competition and in your own backyard. Trust David Bosca. Trust your butcher. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just look for Owl's Nest Barbecue. Jeff Maxwell is at his house monitoring the chat, so please feel free to join in. Jeff will talk to you. And thanks, Jeff, for helping me tonight. Jeff and I did, we had a little barbecue cook on our own. We did 10 butts for one of our local churches. They're going to go out and distribute that food to some of the workers and some of the people that have lost housing. And they're going to do that tomorrow, and good for them. We were glad to do it. And folks, I'm going to tell you something. When I went to the store, I haven't shopped for barbecue meat, God, I don't know how long, because of just all the stuff that's going on. I've been getting hamburgers, things like that. I've been in smash burgers lately and been looking at a lot of ground meat stuff. I went to our local grocery chain. We have one. It's called Food City. It's based out of Bristol, Tennessee. Pork butts, 99 cents a pound. I kid you not. 99 cents a pound. That's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap. We picked up 10, cooked 10, and I went back and picked up 5 today, and Jeff picked up 5 for himself as well. All right, let's get this show on the road. With me today is Derrick Riches, the former Utah resident and now Texas resident. 1,300-mile move. Went from, Derrick, I think you went from earthquakes to tornadoes, didn't you?
Yeah, it's and everything in between.
Well, I must say I miss the pantry shot that we had last time of you in your Utah house. That was a good one. You'll have to,
all my stuff is still boxed up. I'm still trying to get everything sorted.
I can't imagine. You're not as old as I am, but you're not a spring chicken either. And isn't it amazing how much stuff you accumulate when you have to look around and you start putting it in boxes?
Yeah, it's frightening actually how much stuff.
How many book boxes did you have?
Oh, 30?
Yeah.
40? I mean, a lot.
When we moved to this house 14 years ago, I couldn't believe all the books that I had accumulated from the last house. And those are the heaviest boxes you'll ever try to move. They're the worst. They're the worst. The China boxes are bad. It's the book boxes that the movers, when they see books written on top, they go, "Oh boy, here we go." And then when they find out who they're moving, one of the premier barbecue journalists in the nation, and they know that you're going to have tons of books and writings and readings. They probably went, "Oh no, not this guy, not another one." So I know you haven't been there long, so I've never been to Texas. Is it as big as they say?
Yeah, because I mean, we drove down. It was literally the only way to move. So we rented an RV and drove, and
Wow.
for half the drive was getting from across West Texas, and we're in the middle here. You know, I
Hmm.
mean, this is like the center of Texas, and that was like a day. Was just getting into the state and to here.
Well, if I was a barbecue expert like you, I probably couldn't think of a better place to live than Austin, Texas.
You know, we spent a lot of time kind of thinking about where to go, and had a lot of choices, and just kind of I settled down here because I was thinking, you know what, it's like, well, we could go, more in Alabama or areas like that, or somewhere, deeper south. And I was like, well, I want to avoid the weather as much as possible. And
Hmm.
the day we got here, it was just torrential rain, and then,
Yeah.
you know, the storm that you guys got set off, tornado warnings here for, I think, first time in 4 years that they've had active tornado warning going on. So,
Are you a music fan too?
yeah, pretty eclectic, but
Yeah. I mean, you moved to the greatest city in probably the United States then for music and barbecue.
if I could go out and do something, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to getting here. I was really excited about going to a lot of barbecue joints, spending a lot of time with people, and I've been in the house for 3 weeks.
Well, just hang in there. It's going to be,
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be over soon. Um, is what's the mood in Austin, Texas? Are they itching to get the economy flowing there too, or
Yeah,
are they still
I
careful?
think there's some frustration. Because it's I think people are trying to be really patient. I mean, the places I've been to is, hitting the grocery store and stuff like that. And I think people are being, pretty nice, pretty patient with everything so far.
Hmm.
I think it's that kind of, well, we're all in it together. So let's just make it as easy as possible. So
Are
everyone's
they
been really great so far that
are the restaurants
encountered.
are they trying to do takeout like
A
they are
lot
here?
are.
Yeah.
That's kind of particularly with barbecue joints, it's kind of hard because if you can get the takeout going, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to make any money on it.
Right.
So a number are, and there's some kind of old historic barbecue joints in this area, and
Hmm.
they've survived on reputation and being a destination. And now it's kind of like, well, for the first time, they've got to have like a website. They've got to have some sort of online ordering system. I mean, I live real close to the Driftwood location for Salt Lake, and that's been cash only forever. And now they're kind of like, well, we have to do online ordering and make these arrangements this way. So
I
it's
guess
quite a lot of change.
I guess they scrambled for the square.
Yeah, probably.
Something inexpensive that they could get a credit card into. That's interesting. Um, when a barbecue place does takeout, it's expensive when somebody takes out food, but with all the just the packaging alone, plus the high cost of the food.
Well, there's that, but I mean, in the restaurant business, one of your best profit margins is in drinks.
Mhm.
And when people are doing takeout, they're far less likely to order, to get a beverage to go. They've got that at home. So,
Yeah.
you know, that right there, I think, is one of the things that's really hit a lot of restaurants and a lot of barbecue joints is, we don't have that upsell potential.
I was talking last week or a week before with Kerry Bringle from Peg Leg Porkers, and I was telling him about an interview I heard with Nick Solaris on the Barbecue Central show a couple weeks ago when Greg was talking to him about the other side of this. And Nick Solaris said that he said that dining was going to change dramatically. He said fine dining would probably just go away, and the way restaurants are even set up, the way we go out and eat. I know you probably go out and eat in barbecue restaurants and other restaurants, probably more than the average person. What do you think it's gonna be like when Derrick and his spouse go out and order in a restaurant?
I've kind of heard that argument, and I do think that there are going to be some very fundamental changes. I think things are going to be a lot of things are going to be different, but I also kind of think there's a pent up desire to go out. I mean, I think a lot of people are like, man, as soon as I can go to a restaurant and actually sit down and enjoy a meal, I'm going to be there. And I'm hoping that's the case. I'm really hoping that a lot of people are like, let's get out there and go to some great places, and not just support them, but actually enjoy a night out. That'd be something, or a lunch, But
Yeah.
I think we're going to lose some places. I think we're going to lose some important historic barbecue joints. I hate to see it happen.
To that
But
point, and I don't want to turn this into a. Well, we can talk whatever we want to talk about. He said Nick in that interview said that the best finest restaurants in New York, they're all based on cash flow. They're all 30 days away from insolvency. He said even the finest restaurants that you would never think that. He said that.
no, it's true.
Do you think that'll be the case with some of the barbecue restaurants there in the Austin or Texas area? 'Cause, I mean, some of those things. I mean, the oldest one we have here is 1946 in Ooltewah, Couch's Barbecue, continuous operation, same location. But I mean, they've got some that date back to the 1930s and probably
Yeah,
before that.
yeah, no, it's true. Um, and you are right about that. I mean, restaurants in themselves it's an expensive proposition, and the margins are pretty slim, and barbecue is even worse. You're talking about a very expensive product. You're selling meat. It's the most expensive thing on the menu. That's what people are there to get. So, that's hard. I think it's just going to be how flexible they've been able to be, because, when you're shut down, you need to be able to shut down quickly. You need to be able to say, hey, we're not buying. We're going to get rid of what we can. Some places, they've turned themselves into meat markets, grocery stores, or they're working to do donation meals, trying to support hospital staff and do that. So I think it's hard to tell right now what it's going to look like on the other side. I'm trying to be optimistic though.
Yeah, well, of course we want to be optimistic. I was talking to a customer of mine. He worked for like a Cisco or a international IJ, one of those restaurant supply things. And he said he said one advantage that a restaurant has is it doesn't have inventory.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to carry inventory costs. And then, you can, furlough all the employees. Basically the rent goes on. And, he says he thinks it'll boil down to how bad the landlord, either wants him out of that spot or is willing to work with him. And in turn, how bad the bank, wants that property in a repossession style situation. I think we learned from the recession, and I think a lot of banks learned during the recession that they make lousy landlords, and they
Yeah,
make lousy homeowners, and they make
it's true.
lousy business center owner operators. So I know in our area, well, it's all over the nation. The banks have been almost they've been very forthcoming about what they will do for you as far as mortgage payments on business property, home payments, and things like that. Suspending them,
Yeah.
kicking them down the road a little bit. So I think the financial atmosphere for business owners, small business owners, which most restaurants are, the mom and pop things. I think that's going in their favor, because I think the banks want them to succeed as well, because they're not going to know what to do with a barbecue restaurant. and they're not going to know what to do with that space. Because if the
Yeah.
barbecue guy that's been there for 20 years isn't going to make it, the next guy, what makes you think he's going to make it?
No, you're absolutely right. And having a glut of real estate, commercial or residential, on the market isn't going to help the banks out any, because it's just going to drop the prices and all of that they, if they are foreclosing left and right, they're going to end up with worthless property. So, I do think that there's some space in there. I think it's going to be able to, I think the rent issue, the landlord issue, that's going to be okay. And a lot of the, there's a lot of, the more rural barbecue joints, particularly down in this area, and I think throughout, much of the South, and they own the land they're on because they've been there forever, and they're largely rural. They're not in the city. It's going to be the ones, the downtown Austin, for where I am, that's where I'd be worried. But, I'm out in Driftwood, or if you're up in Lockhart, or if you're, out in Llano, and you've got, you're just kind of out on the periphery, I think that, that's not the concern. It's just going to be getting people back in when you can open up.
And I think when it does come back, I would dare to say the stats will be, they probably won't go back to the levels at first that they were when they closed, and they'll just they'll have kind of be putting their toe in the water to see what the atmosphere is like, and then hopefully they can hire more people. I don't see how they hire people anyway. Bless their hearts. It's hiring for a restaurant has got to be the most humbling experience as a business owner that there is.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's always the reputation restaurants have, is the turnover rate is usually really, really high, and keeping people on staff is difficult, because if you've got experience in the restaurant world, you can pretty much go anywhere. So you can move around and work as you need to. So, but I think they can get a lot of staff back. I think they can get people back in there. I mean,
they'll get them back.
A lot of people looking for work.
Yeah, they'll be itching to work.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's go. Let's get all the blues out of the way like we did, and let's go to the Oklahoma Joe. That little let's see, that was the OJ, the Rider DLX that you did a review on. You did 2 videos on your YouTube channel on that. I liked it, and it was funny when all the was going towards the Weber smoke fire. Oklahoma Joe's kind of quietly slipped this little product into the forefront of the pellet arena. And from what I can tell by the videos you've done, it looks like a pretty well built, solid machine. Haven't heard all the horror stories like we have on the Weber. I don't know how true or not. But what are your conclusions after spending some time with the Rider DLX from OJ?
Well, I think it, first of all, it's about $650, so it's priced really well. And it's priced versus much smaller Traeger grills, much lighter weight Traeger grills. I mean, this thing's like 260 pounds. It's solid steel, and it's pretty versatile in that it works as a pellet grill, but it has a direct flame capability. So it kind of, interestingly enough, it does a number of the things that SmokeFire will do. The only thing that's really missing is there's no connectivity. There's no Bluetooth, there's no Wi-Fi to it. It's a very basic controller unit with no connectivity. But it'll sear a steak and it'll smoke on it. There are similar issues, and that is, the first thing I did is I grabbed I got set up, I put a pork butt on it, and I let it go, and it caught on fire. Probably 20 minutes.
You're kidding. Where did it catch fire, in the fire pot? Or, it can't get to the fire pot because it's got that round shield on it.
Well, that round shield turns.
Yeah.
So it opens for direct flame,
right,
or closes for smoke. Well, you get grease accumulation on top of that little baffle there, and then that catches on fire. It only burned for maybe a minute, but you still have that potential. So the thing about this is, if you're going to smoke on it, you probably want to cook on the upper racks, not right directly down below, because the heat is actually pretty intense even at low temperatures.
I saw that one video you did where it actually it looked like it charred that pork butt because you had it
Yeah.
right there. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that the Weber that I've got the smoke fire is the first pellet grill I ever owned, and I knew nothing about them. So every time I used it, it was a learning. I was learning new things about pellet smokers. When I did my first brisket and my first butt on that smoke fire, I used the middle rack. It made sense to me to move it up off of the bottom rack where it would get more airflow and more ambient temperature instead of direct temperature.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they say to do that or not. I don't remember reading it, but
Yeah. Well, and with this, there was there was nothing in the instructions or any of the manuals, about that at the time. And when I go into a product like this, I literally it's like, what's the most basic arrangement I can go with? What does it look like? This is how you're supposed to do it. What are the illustrations showing me? So that's what I go for. I might know better a little bit from experience, but I still want to see what the average consumer is going to be hit with. The person who doesn't have a lot of experience on these sort of things. So, other than that, it charred a bit on the bottom of that butt, but the rest of it was smoked pretty well, and, it turned out fine. You just had to kind of pick out some crispy bits of it,
yeah.
which I actually enjoy.
How was the that little round middle rack they've got? It's kind of got a design in it for the searing of the steaks. How did it? I think they advertised what, 650 degrees.
Yeah.
How did that work?
Well, so one of the other tests I did on is I took a couple of about 1 inch thick ribeye steaks, and I put them on there and I let it go on the upper rack. So let them go low and slow, as low as temperatures it would go for about 45 minutes, and then I just turned it up to its highest setting. Let it sit for about a minute. Then I opened up that direct flame and threw the steaks straight on it and seared them right then and there. Because it's burning hot. It's burning really hot, and it's right on that direct flame. So there's no heat up time. That's with the more traditional pellet grill. If you wanted to do something like that, it can take 20, 30 minutes to kind of get it up to a temperature, to its maximum temperature, depending upon your weather conditions and all of those sort of things. But I just went straight forward, and it turned out great. It got that reverse sear on that, real intense. Those heavy cast iron cooking grates will take in a lot of heat. So, from that, I was really actually quite impressed with that. From just cooking reverse sear on a pellet grill without going to a different piece of equipment or any lag time in between, that works great.
When I saw when I got, and I don't want to compare the Oklahoma Joe to the Weber. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to explain what, based on my very short experience with pellet smokers. It seemed to me that everybody was jumping on 600 degrees, and maybe you're jumping on 650. I don't cook a steak that high. I'm 400 to 420 degrees. I'm not in a hurry. What I'm saying is I'm not, if it takes 10 minutes, compared to 5 minutes to cook a steak, I'm okay with that. How do you do yours? Because everybody was saying, oh, it'll go to 600 degrees. Well, so what? I mean, it doesn't have to go to 600 degrees.
No, it doesn't. There's a myth about like the perfect steak, and it's pushed by a couple of restaurants that they use salamanders, these reverse top-down infrared cooking equipment that they'll generate 1500 degrees. And the idea that, you cook steak in 3 minutes or 2 minutes, it's like, man, it's like, that doesn't necessarily make it better. It might give it a nice charcoaly flavor on the outside if you go 20 seconds too long. But, I cook steaks in a variety of ways. So depending upon the equipment I'm using, if I can push it to that kind of temperature, let's see what it'll do. But no, I agree with you that, generally if I'm just cooking myself a steak on any regular grill. I'm not cooking at those kind of temperatures necessarily.
Have you done any?
Yeah.
Did you do any burgers on yours yet?
I did. I've done burgers on that. Worked great. Good high temperature. It worked very much like if you were doing on almost any kind of grill. If you're doing it on charcoal or something like that, you had a bit of a grease would burn. You'd get the fire going. Made good burgers. So, you know, it's kind of funny. I think we're now kind of in that age where we talk about how well a pellet grill can do a burger. When it was largely a smoking apparatus, but
Well,
that they all go for high temperature.
You bring up a good point. It amazes me that and I'm just saying generically, all the things that it will do. Well, we did we had a little gathering at our gas station Saturday. We have a couple of guys that we always get together on Saturdays and have lunch, and I did burgers, and I just bought those those frozen quarter-pound burgers that you buy at the store. They come in a case, and they're easy to cook.
Yeah.
And I put them on my pellet smoker. I set the temperature at 400, and they cooked nice and slow. Not a lot of flare up. When you turned them over, it didn't flare. But it was no different cooking on that pellet smoker than when I cook on my Genesis. I had the exact same results, the exact good taste. It wasn't that much better than the Genesis, but I was happy with the way that it performed on something other than a brisket or a pork butt. I thought, this thing could, it could take the place of two grills on my back porch. I could get rid of the Genesis, get rid of the PK, and then you've got the real, the charcoal taste sort of thing going with the smoke. I thought it was, I think they're fantastic. I really do.
Well, I think that's now where so many of these manufacturers are trying to get to is the pellet grill that does it all. For a long time, people would have their pellet grill for smoking, and then they'd have a gas grill or a charcoal grill for higher temperature cooking, and they're not perfect. I'm going to be honest. The Oklahoma Joe's, it's not a perfect pellet grill. There's some grease issues with it. It's a little bit difficult to maintain and kind of clean up. If you want to get down to the fire pot, you need two different screwdrivers and a wrench, and you have to pull a lot of it out.
Really?
Yeah, it's not that straightforward. But it's good size. It's about almost 1,000. I think it's over 1,000 square inches total cooking space.
It looks really big.
Yeah. So it's comparable. I think it's about the same as the EX6 Smokefire in the total cooking space.
Yeah, the EX6 is big. The EX6, it's a big smoker. You could get if you weren't. I always cook in pans, but if you weren't cooking in pans, you could get 10 butts on an EX6. You'd have to cook on the bottom pan. I don't like cooking on the bottom rack, but you could. So, it's like that. The Rider, it's got plenty of size. What would you recommend it? The Oklahoma Joe? Because you see the Oklahoma Joe a lot when I'm out shopping. You see it in Lowe's, it's in Walmart, it's in the big boxes. You see them at the athletic stores. It seems like it's a little more sturdy. I don't know if the wheels fool me or not. They'll always get those cool, metal wagon wheels on there that kind of make it look a little more macho than the other ones, I guess. Would you recommend it? Or is it a Derrick Riches buy or a Derrick Riches hold?
Well, first of all, just on the wheels, I really wish it just had rubber wheels. Because, for one thing, I've moved this around, quite a bit. I've moved it over concrete and brick. And so the paint that they have on the wheels, of course, is just scratched right off. And so I'm still going to do another video and kind of a wrap-up video on it. But, there's quite a bit of rust on those wheels at this point. And I actually got it here to Austin with me, so it's a lot more humid here. So that's going quickly. If you're looking for a pellet grill that's going to do high temperature cooking, you don't care about connectivity. You're not looking for an app. You're not looking for the Wi-Fi or all that sort of stuff. I think it's better built than a lot of comparable units. I think it's got a lot of solid performance to it, particularly if you want to do kind of the more high temperature cooking. It's got Pit Boss and Traeger beat on that regard. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good unit. That centerpiece is removable. You can buy a griddle for it. They've got like a deep cooking pan, so they've got some accessories to go with it, give you a lot more versatility. You can do pizza on it really well. It's so because you can get to the kind of temperatures to make a good pizza out of it. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's a good choice in the price range. I really do.
Do you think the connectivity or lack thereof, will that be a deterrent to some of the younger people, do you think?
It might be. I still don't, I don't have a good gauge on how important that is to users.
I think it's real important to some people.
To some people.
I think it's important to a lot of people.
There are.
Yeah, and I know what you mean. I don't use it. But I tell you, just when you read the different social media sites, when you see the YouTube videos, and the people are always talking about either how easy it connects to their phone or how difficult it is to connect to their phone. It seems like that's what's driving this market is. It's all over social media today. Traeger downloaded something to the grills. My God, you thought aliens landed on Area 51 again.
They just rolled out a massive.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Upgrade.
Every time you turn on the computer, Traeger's downloaded another thing to all their grills.
Well, I think Traeger's trying to catch up with the Weber app. For SmokeFire, they needed their app to do what the Weber app would do, so they put a lot of stuff in the development. How easily it connects to your phone is one thing. Whether or not you use the app to monitor or control it or, do anything with the grill, that's something else. And I think that if you're really new to it, that's interesting. It's cool to watch, or you can keep track of things, and it kind of helps you out. It gives you, some of these apps will kind of really tell you what you need to be doing here. Mm-hmm. I think once you've got a little bit of experience, I've talked with people, it's like, I use the app all the time for a couple of months, and then I just kind of stopped. I found I didn't really need it. It wasn't as important. So
I'd say once you learn how to use it, how to cook on a smoker, if you've never done it.
Yeah.
You don't need it. It's not brain surgery smoking a piece of meat. That's why so many people do it. There's not millions of people doing it because it's so hard. There's millions of people doing it because it's so easy. And
if you're like me and you learned how to smoke meat on a cheap little Brinkmann smoker back in the mid '90s, mm-hmm. That's different than if you're a 22-year-old kid today who's doesn't even know cooking, but now has an app on their grill that might show them what they need to be doing and help them out. Maybe I'm getting too old to kind of understand the need for it. But
let's don't talk that way. We'll be doing the next show on MySpace. You said something a minute ago. It's not the perfect smoke. It's not the perfect pellet grill. Talking about the OJ DLX. What you've tested probably hundreds of grills. What is the perfect pellet smoker?
Well, that's a hard question. For a long time, I was kind of resistant to pellet smokers, mm-hmm. to pellet grills, pellet smokers. I prefer charcoal. I prefer hardwood. I'm kind of old school that way. So for me, I don't know there's such a thing as the perfect pellet grill. I've liked Mac grills for years because I think they're really well built. They have very solid construction to them, and they're really efficient. But they're a lot more expensive. That's just it. I mean, I've tried out a lot of pellet grills, and you can spend now up to about $8,000 on a pellet grill,
Yeah.
and they're great, fantastic. It's just an amazing, that's some amazing equipment to cook on, but it's not realistic. I
For the money, for the money. Now you got to remember, you're Derrick Riches. People,
I know.
Derrick. People go to DerrickRiches.com like I do, at least 3 times a week, to see what the master has up his sleeve. What is if Derrick Riches has got to spend Derrick Riches money and go out and get a pellet smoker, or you might have already done it. What's on the back porch that is the master's the master's football. What are you using?
I think I think that one of the reasons that I kind of have trouble wrapping my head about what's the best pellet grill is because I don't think that all pellet grills, that everyone who's buying a pellet grill is looking for the same thing. I think that there are people who are looking for a pellet smoker and they want an efficient smoker that's going to make barbecue. And that's different from the person that wants a pellet grill that's going to cook at higher temperatures and going to do a lot of grilling. Or the person that wants kind of the best of both worlds. I don't think that the Oklahoma Joe's is a great pellet smoker. It's a good pellet smoker. But if I was going to want to do a lot of barbecue, I wouldn't pick it. If I was going to be loading that full of briskets, that's probably not the one I'm going to go with. Mm-hmm. I liked pellet grills from PELLET. I think that I had Silverback for a long time. I quite enjoyed that. I think that the higher end Traeger units, the Ironwood and the Timberline, I think those are good units for smoking. If you want something that does a bit of everything, I think you have to kind of give up on some stuff. I think you have to say it's not going to be a great smoker. It's not necessarily going to be a great grill. This Oklahoma Joe's, it works quite well as a good grill, but the actual high temperature grilling space is relatively small and it's not very even.
Yeah.
Doing a pellet grill at high temperature, it is not going to give you even temperatures. Everyone was outraged that SmokeFire wasn't exactly the same temperature from side to side. And I'm like, no, of course it's not going to be.
The Oklahoma Joe wasn't either.
No, it's not.
Right, and it was they were
different under good circumstances. Yeah. But it has 2 smokestacks on the top that are adjustable. Mm-hmm. And so you can you can improve the evenness a little bit, but largely not at high temperatures. I think for as much as people bash SmokeFire, I think it's still a pretty good grill. I mean, you certainly don't seem to have had any problems with it.
No, I've got both. I love them. I mean, for quick. Now, obviously, today we used I've used my Meyer Mixon 48-inch water smoker, and that's that, to me that's still that's the way to do barbecue. To me, it's.
And I agree with you completely.
My Southern Q gravity feed charcoal smoker. That's
a great smoker, and there's a lot. There's a lot in that category. It's not cheap, but
but they work and they hold. When you work with something, I know you've worked with something, and I think that's what I think the reason people like the pellet smokers so much, and the reason I like them, because when you set the temperature on a good quality smoker like the Meyer Mixon, the Southern, it stays there. I mean, it sticks, and you're not using gas. You're using a fuel that is volatile. You don't know how hot that knot in that wood's going to burn compared to the wood that's right next to it, and so yada yada. But I think that's what the pellet smoker, it just holds so constant that you don't have to worry about it, and that's kind of like, and I'm probably like you. I feel a little guilty that you don't have to keep checking on it because you want to you want to cook the meat. You don't want to watch the meat cook. And I think that's what you get with the pellet smoke. You get to watch the meat cook instead of cooking the meat.
And I think that's one of the appeals of the pellet smokers. You're actually, for as easy it is, it kind of also gets you a little bit more involved in the process.
It does.
Those old smokers like your Meyer Mixon, once you got it down, you load it up, you walk away, you're good to go, and you can trust it.
Mm-hmm.
You have faith in it because it's engineered well. Pellet pellet grills, pellet smokers, they use technology to kind of compensate for the the differences in what you're using, or all of those sort of factors. The computer takes care of it for you.
Unless you're using the Weber, you have to keep going back into the outside, make sure it's not on fire.
You gotta push the pellets down every 10 minutes, right? You gotta get a little pellet plunger to.
I got carpal tunnel from doing that. It's awful. You have to put your hand there and scoop those things.
You put them in one at a time, right? Is that the way it works with that one?
I don't know if you ever saw it. Weber makes a real cool charcoal rake. I don't know if you ever saw it. It works great. It almost fits in the pellet hopper perfect. One swoop, boom, and he brings them all down to the hopper. So
yeah,
so get the Weber charcoal rake, and it works great.
I don't know very many pellet grills that all of the pellets seem to make it into the auger. They always tend to bank up on the side or get stuck on something. I mean, that's actually kind of...
Derrick, I could not believe it when I saw that complaint. First time I saw the complaint that you have to move the pellets to the hole. They don't feed evenly. And I looked in mine, I went, are you kidding? I said, they're complaining about that? I said, try cooking something overnight and you have to go out there and throw, logs on your smoker.
Yeah.
You think pulling pellets is hard. You're definitely not going to enjoy, cooking with a big, huge stick burner like we had to just 10 years ago. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, we're not talking like, our dad's grandpa. I mean, we're talking us.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Just, me today. But everybody, when we first got into this 10 years ago, they weren't using pellet smokers. Everybody's using a stick burner.
Yeah. This whole notion of you're going to sleep through the night while making barbecue? Hold it.
Yeah. That's
what?
When did God grant us that ability? When he rained down and said, you will sleep while you do barbecue now. And some people go, you damn right we will. And if you can't, I'm gonna write the company and I'm gonna go on Facebook and I'm gonna tell everybody your product's a piece of crap because I had to get up and rake the pellets down.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It blows my mind.
People might be a little spoiled. I'm not sure.
I think they're a lot of spoiled. Let's see. That was good on the. That was good on the pellet thing. I like that. I like that a whole lot. We got a. Okay. Here's one. I wrote down many questions for you. And the last I'm gonna do is gonna be very selfish. So, just stay tuned. The environment that we're in right now with the, I know. I don't know if you know this. You probably do. I've got a little barbecue store that I've got going. I'm a little over a year into it now. And I was really anticipating a big spring. I had the people from Weber coming up to look at it. I'm trying to get the Weber dealership for my store. And, of course, we had to cancel that. And that kind of bummed me out. We just now, and unfortunately, the tornado is what gave me the bump in business. Because this has made a lot of people start cooking because they're cooking for other people. You see what I'm saying? They're helping.
Yeah.
And so this has driven a lot of business to that little store of mine. But what do you think the impact on this industry is going to be with this, with the economy the way it is? Because, Memorial Day, I'm still afraid that Memorial Day is not going to be, I was thinking at one time maybe that was going to be the big Welcome Back America Day, but I don't think it's going to be Memorial Day. You're connected with all these companies? Are they how are they reeling through this?
Everyone I've talked to has basically got the same answer: one day at a time.
Yeah.
Because they're just not. There's no certainty. We're in that place right now where it's like tomorrow could bring something totally different, and it would be nice to be able to sit back and say, hey, we have some dates, we have a timeline here, and these things are going to happen this way, and we're going to lift the ban on gatherings of more than two people or whatever it is, depending upon where you are. Say, have your family over, 20 people at your house. I mean, that would change a lot of things for the business. So for a lot of manufacturers, we don't know. We don't know if we're going to have a good spring. I mean, we're going into May, and May is literally the biggest month of the year for the business.
Yeah.
And are people going to be buying grills? They seem to be. But then again, there are situations in which manufacturers are like, we've had to cut back on getting our products together, either manufacturing or assembling or shipping. The distribution channels are all up in the air. Trucking has gone insane. We've got this essentials item going on.
They're hauling food.
So the supply chains are strange. And the businesses, I don't know. I mean, I think back. I mean, I've been covering this now for 23 years. Mm-hmm. So I think back to 9/11, and I think back to 2008. And so 9/11, people stayed home. There was a lot less travel. This is when we invented the staycation, and It was good for the business. People were staying home. They were cooking more. They were being with their families. And, that crisis kind of inspired that sort of response. And I think that there's some of that to this. As soon as people can sit there and say, I can get back together with my family, I can bring in, have the relatives come over. I think that it's going to be a lot of, home nesting. And I think we're going to see some good cookouts. I think we're going to see some good interest in that direction. When I think about the financial crisis in 2008 and really in 2009 when it kind of hit the industry, it was a lot of home loss. There was a lot of job loss. But again, people were going out less. They were staying home more. So we saw increases in the sale of charcoal, in the sale of wood pellets. Propane demand went up in both of those instances.
Wow.
I think that if we can get to a point where people can breathe a little easier, feel a little more secure in their lives, feel like things are going to be okay, then I think there's going to be that kind of, let's get the family together, let's have some good times, let's have that big sigh of relief. And in my experience, that a good cookout, a good family gathering in the backyard, making some barbecue. I mean, even if you're just cooking burgers and dogs, or if you're smoking 20 briskets, whatever, that sort of scenario is the sort of thing that makes a lot of people come back and go, I think the world's going to be okay. Yeah. And everything's going to work out. And so we just need to get past this hump. And where it is, I'm not sure. Is it 3 weeks from now? Is it 4 weeks? Is it 8 weeks? But I think it'll come along.
I know the people that they came in the store this week. So far, they were almost happy to be shopping for something other than toilet paper, paper towels, and things they couldn't find. It was like a relief to them. I keep these little boxes all around the store where you can grab and put the rubs and stuff in the boxes. And man, I'm almost out of boxes now because people are grabbing them and filling those boxes up. Like I got one little space left in this box. I'm going to buy something else. And they did seem, it was like almost a moment of, finally, we're going to cook something. So,
and I think there's a huge demand for that feeling. And I think as soon as enough people feel safe in it, I think a lot of stuff's going to come back, and it's going to feel a lot more normal.
And I hope
Things
so.
might be different, but people are going to try and get back to that sense of comfort again.
Okay, let's play store. Now this is so selfish. I am selfish, and I'm probably doing. I'm going to ask you questions that you probably charge people to. So you're going to have to put up with
Okay,
this.
I'll start writing down a tab.
All right, I'm going to use you as my consultant. Okay, you're the barbecue consumer, and you're looking for equipment, rub, sauce, and advice. When you go into a barbecue store, what is Derrick Riches looking for from that store? What do you expect?
Well, I remember a time when there wasn't barbecue stores. Not really, not very many of them. And I think the first one I went into was in Kansas City. And for me, uh, knowing that the people there are knowledgeable is the first thing I'm looking for. I mean, there's a lot of people that are new to barbecue, a lot of people getting into it, and it seems like there's so many great things out there, but there's kind of too many great things out there. And for me, that's kind of like the first thing is someone you can talk to that knows what they're selling and can really guide you in that direction. Because there's a lot of great products out there.
Well, it's confusing.
It can get really confusing.
Barbecue can get real confusing really quick.
Well, when I first started writing about barbecue, people would email me and ask me what a rub was
You kidding?
and how do you make one. And so I had recipes for rubs. Now you go into a barbecue store and they have 500 rubs.
Oh,
And they got all sorts of different kinds of rubs. And then now it's a question of, well, what kind of rub do you want? What are you cooking? What kind of flavors do you like? There's so much versatility. There's so much variety out there because you can go almost any direction with these things now. And there's some really good rubs out there.
all right. What when you go into? I'm assuming you go to when you travel. You go to if you see a store, you'll go into it. I'm sure you've been in a lot of barbecue stores. A lot. Have you?
Try to.
Would you say you've been in a lot of them, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I,
I've
I,
been
I
in a
believe you.
lot.
I believe
Yeah.
you. What were they missing when you went in there? What turned you off?
Well, I mean, for me, I like looking at a lot of equipment, and so when I go into a lot of barbecue stores, if they've got two different kinds of cookers, two different brands, then I'm kind of like, nah, there's not enough fun things for me to look at. Um, just because, I mean, that's my own interest. I just, I love to kick the tires on all the grills in the world. Um,
So lack of selection. Lack of selection.
Yeah, selection is diversity of selection. I mean, I've been into barbecue stores and they've got 5, 10 different models of pellet grills, but they don't have anything else. It's like, well, what if I want something else? What if I don't want a pellet grill? But so selection is a big one. My favorite thing to do with a barbecue shop is to hit it on a Saturday morning when if they're firing up food. I want to see that, I want to go in and talk to them when they're setting up and, kind of have that chat. To me, it's, I mean, a barbecue store is a lot about conversation.
Oh,
It's all about talking about barbecue.
everybody likes to talk about that for sure. All right, of all the ones you went to, final question. We're way over, but that's okay. What else we got to do? We can't go anywhere. What store that you've been in does it right? Of all the stores you visited.
Oh, well, now I have to remember names.
Or you can say cities. I mean, there's not that many stores. I mean, there's more than there used to be, but I mean, each city doesn't. We just like Chattanooga. I think I'm the only one that has a store that's just dedicated to barbecue. Usually they're in hardware stores or there's a section and stuff like that.
Well, I thought that was weird, and I mean, in the Salt Lake City area, I think there's a chain of 5 of them now. They've opened like 5 barbecue stores. That's all they do.
Really?
Well, that's really impressive for a place that didn't know what barbecue was 20 years ago. I mean, we've only had a real barbecue restaurant for like 12. Now we've got 5 barbecue stores. Um, there's a lot of great stores in Kansas City. I think that's kind of where a lot of that got going. Um, you're toying with my memory. And not only is
Wait till you're 61.
store, there was a place in Ohio I went to. They had a really great store. I think Chris Marks was doing a demo on Goodwin Smokers there, and I was traveling through that way. And I can't remember the store. Now I can't remember the town.
Is it that hardware store that's the world's largest hardware store? Is it that one?
No, this was just a barbecue store.
Just a barbecue store, okay.
Yeah. World's largest hardware store. That sounds like a lot of fun. That's like should be like an amusement park.
Yeah, it's a guy amusement park, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, I see what you're looking for, though. I can see the type of consumer that you want to talk. You want to talk about it. You want to talk about several different types of things, and you want to see all the stuff.
There's, the thing about barbecue that most people new to it don't understand is there's a lot of breadth. It's a very wide subject. And a lot of times some of these little stores, they're very narrow. It's like, oh, we've got a couple of grills, we've got a couple of rubs, we've got a couple of sauces. We don't reflect different styles, or we don't reflect different flavors. And I like different. I mean, I've been doing barbecue stuff for a very long time, and I actively go out and look for something I've never had before. That's a big thing, and that's kind of one of the reasons it got me down this way. Is it's not Austin itself. I can drive 2 hours and be across half of Texas and try out stuff I just haven't tried. So that's what I like. I want something new.
Try a Heath Ryle citrus rub if you get a chance to. It's a good one.
I think I have a jar of it in a box.
It is wicked good on chicken wings. We cooked some up last weekend, and it is what's fun about having a little store like that. You can
you can try it all.
Yeah, we sprinkle the rubs on everything. Wonder how this tastes. Derrick Riches, thank you so much, man. You're the greatest. You are the greatest. I hope I didn't bore you too much, but I think we had a lot of good information exchange hands. Good luck in Austin, Texas.
Thank you very much.
I wish you luck there. I know your that little event you went to in New Orleans, the National Barbecue and Patio. What was it called?
Yeah, Hearth Patio and Barbecue Association.
Yeah, that was kind of petered out, I think, didn't it, with the virus?
Yeah, they were literally closing the show down as we were there. I mean, I flew the morning I left to go down there. New Orleans, Louisiana had no cases, and there was 40 by the next morning, and they were shutting the city down while I was there. So it was the last American trade show.
Well, it sounds like it was good you got out of there, because I think Mardi Gras started a whole different trend down there of respirators and face masks.
Yeah, no, because the show took place the same weekend as St. Patrick's Day, so that was going on. So there was, wild parties going on, but I kind of avoided the area.
I think is it in Nashville next year? I believe.
Yes, it is.
So that now you're into my region.
Right.
So
and I will be up there, and I will certainly do my best to get down your way.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'll be up there. If it's in Nashville, I'll come up there and check that thing out, because and Nashville's an easy drive from Chattanooga, and it sounds like it's an interesting show. Thank you so much for being on the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show, Derrick Riches. And next time I'll call you and we'll get you on in a few months. Let's talk some griddle talk. Are you into griddles yet?
Oh yeah, I got a few.
Okay. See, I haven't made the dive yet. I'm just buying the flat tops that fit on my grill, but I'm getting ready to make the plunge. So
I have a lot of fun with them.
So next time we'll talk about smash burgers.
Oh yeah. Sounds
Derrick,
good.
Derrick, thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having me
much.
on.
Appreciate you. Have a good week. Stay
You
safe.
too.
Derrick Riches all the way from Dallas, Texas on the Butcher Barbecue Skype hotline. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Jeff Maxwell, thank you so much for moderating the chat room. We appreciate it. Joe Young, Kermit Dye, Peggy, and Gail, thank you so much for joining us. I saw all you guys in the chat. I appreciate that very much. We'll be back here next week on the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show with another interesting guest, we hope. Until then, everyone, please be safe. And let's see. I got something to tell you. Let me get this thing right here. Here it goes. Remember, when you need tires for your car, truck, or SUV, don't trust your safety with just any tire. Ride on Michelin tires. And don't forget, when it comes to barbecue flavor, Butcher Barbecue has your barbecue covered. With flavors from grilling addiction to honey rub, trust David Boskin, folks. Trust your butcher. Until next week, this is Steve Ray, your barbecue correspondent in Noodlewater, Tennessee. Good night and good luck.
She asked me why. I just went on and told her. She asked me why. I just went on and told her.